Italy is a country that captivates your senses, from the kindness of the people to the balmy Mediterranean temperatures. Not forgetting, of course, the food. Italy is as well known for its food and drink as it is for its history and culture. You might say then that it is pretty obvious why people choose to move to Italy. Or is it? If you're watching this video, I'm guessing that you're curious about Italy and that you have an interest in discovering more about real Italian life beyond a summer vacation. Maybe you have an inner desire to move to Italy, just like I did 4 years ago. If so, I have one very important question for you, and it is this: why? Why do you want to move to Italy? I honestly don't think enough time is given to answering this question, to establishing your why. Those superficial aspects of Italian life that I mentioned at the beginning of this video, the food, the weather, the people, they may be what initially come to mind when you think of your reason for moving to Italy, but are they really enough of a why? Living in Italy is complicated, to say the least. I love living here, but I'm the first person to admit that sometimes Italian life cracks me. I'll give you a very recent example. I moved from Salerno to Palermo at the end of July, and I ended up spending around 6 weeks living out of a suitcase whilst I waited for the Italian holiday period of Ferragosto to pass and for businesses to reopen so that our move could progress. Once that happened, I then spent around a week cleaning the apartment before it was even remotely ready for the unpacking to commence. Everything moves at a much slower pace here in the south, and that can be confronting when you are used to having everything ready yesterday. Challenges like this can easily upset the apple cart and leave you questioning your decision if your why isn't strong enough. In 2019, I had a breakdown. There were a number of factors behind it, but one of them was that I realised I'd bitten off more than I could chew with my new life in Italy. There I was, unable to communicate, heavily dependent at the time on my boyfriend, who did his best, but ultimately our relationship crumbled away, and I was lying there in a hospital bed in Palermo with a big decision to make. Was I going to stay in Italy? Through everything that I was processing, one thing was rock solid, and that was my why. It was my why that was based on my personal goals and feelings that kept me in Italy, enabled me to turn my life around, and ultimately led to my breakthrough. This is why I am so passionate about establishing your why, because my story could have been very different if my reasons for living in Italy hadn't been strong enough. But how do you go about establishing your why? Well, I have just the answer. The Language and Mental Wellbeing Conference is an online event taking place between the 10th to the 13th of October, and it is an event dedicated to the different aspects of an expat's life. There are 37 guest speakers featured, myself included, talking about a range of everyday aspects that you may encounter in your life as an expat. These include anxiety, looking for a job, making friends, dealing with loneliness, etc. I'll be talking about how an expat breakdown can be your biggest breakthrough, and also on how you can establish your why. You also have the opportunity to ask questions to the different guest speakers, and you are automatically entered into a raffle to win a selection of prizes gifted by the speakers themselves. Mine is a copy of my book, Wake Up to Your Worth. If you can't make the sessions live, don't worry, they are recorded and the replays will be available until the 9th of November. As if all of that wasn't good enough, 5% of all ticket proceeds will go to the Children's Mental Health charity Place to Be, which I think is wonderful all by itself. Until the 23rd of September, there is currently an early bird deal on ticket prices where you can save €10 off the ticket price, entering the code NMW 2022. I'm going to put all the links below to the ticket conference page. So I really hope that you will consider joining me at this conference. I only wish it had been around when I first decided to move to Italy back in 2018, because honestly it can be really difficult to find the right support and advice when you are considering becoming an expat, and even if you are already an expat now. Life as an expat is ever evolving. I have spoken about this in so many other videos. You always encounter something new, you always have a new challenge to deal with or a new experience to navigate. You never stop learning. And so this conference can help you whether you are in the initial stages of thinking of becoming an expat, or if you're a fully established expat living in whatever country you may be in around the world. This conference isn't country specific. It can help you wherever you may be in the world. It's been put together very cleverly by people who are expats themselves and understand exactly what you go through as an expat and the sorts of trials and tribulations that you can encounter. So even if you're watching this after September the 23rd and you've missed the early bird deal, please don't worry. Click below on the link and it will still take you through to the ticket page. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and I hope to see you at the conference from the 10th of October. Ciao for now.